Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to 22 Panels, where my guest today is the recently Eisner Hall of Fame nominated cartoonist Eddie Campbell. And Maria Pena joins me tonight as well.
Hello.
Um, because she mentioned to me long ago that she knew Eddie Campbell from way back. And when I talked to him, he said he did remember. So I'm like, I gotta put you on screen together. So Eddie and Maria get to see each other for the first time in how many years did you say, Eddie?
35,
35. Yeah.
89. It
Very
was back
cool.
to 89.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how's it going, both of you? That's the nice thing to start with. Basically,
89. 89. That was almost a turning point in my career. I was trying to get Maria to introduce me to the uh, the design business. Give
To
me
oh,
the storyboarding.
some addresses, and I was going to try and switch to illustrate. I thought this comics thing isn't working. I'll try and change horses. I'll get into this. I'll get into this illustration thing. Are you, are you freelance now, Maria? Are you completely freelance?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well
I've
done.
been freelance now for yeah. I mean, I think I probably sorry. Wait, I remember you came to see me at the office where I worked.
Yeah.
And then when that job finally kind of, ran its course, I went freelance and I went back to an office, to another agency a few years later, but I resented every minute I spent in the office knowing that I could be freelance and just do whatever, just work. It's not like you work when you want to, but you probably work more, but you're in your own
Yeah.
space. You don't have people
You
around you.
you don't waste time. When you're in offices, you waste so much time. You've got to go to
Yes.
meetings and things and listen to people talking rubbish, and so much time gets wasted.
Yes, and yeah, and the politics that go around, and I'm yes, I don't know about you, Eddie, but I'm not someone who, I can't handle all that noise around me, all the personalities.
The last time I had a 9 to 5 job was in '86.
Right,
So that's nearly 50 years ago.
right. Well, yeah.
no, nearly 40 years ago. Don't make me older
40
than I
years ago.
am.
40 years ago. Sorry,
40.
yeah. 40 40 years ago. It's it's all a it's all a blur.
I know, but I was six in 86, and my grandkids make me feel old enough. So, like, don't give me an extra decade there, Eddie.
40 years ago.
So
It,
Eddie,
I was going
I
to say
remember,
it's all a blur,
yeah.
especially these last 4 or 5
Mm.
years, where time has become a smear. You know, time has no
Yeah.
features.
Mm.
We haven't been going to those family events and so the COVID thing I'm referring to. It was a
Yeah.
couple of years
Yeah.
where nobody could go anywhere. I missed my
Yes.
daughter's wedding, for instance.
Oh
Oh,
no.
yeah.
So
That's
so we don't have those landmarks, those features that give time a face.
Uh, yes.
It's
Yes.
just a smear.
Milestones. Yeah.
Milestones.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Sorry, I
that.
interrupted you. You were saying.
No.
No. No. Oh, me.
Oh,
Oh. I was just gonna. I've had this question in my mind for probably for 40 years. What I remember you um you drew the scene where you came to see me in the office and you drew me and you were showing me your stuff and I can't remember which comic that was in, and every time I go through my comics I go, which comic was it?
Who is that?
And I'm sure I bought it. You no.
it's a
It
blur.
would it would be in here, I suppose, in
I
See,
this
that's what I
suppose.
suggested
in
to
this
Yeah,
Alec.
okay.
it's in
I
this
don't
600-page book.
We'll
I
search through it together, Maria.
I suppose.
it'll be somewhere in there from when you went to Australia and tried all that stuff. So
Well,
did
I only
you
left
mm,
Australia 10 years ago.
All right. Why have you been here all this time?
I've been in Australia. I went
I
to
mean-
England. I emigrated back to England, and then from
Mhm.
England I emigrated to. So I've emigrated 3 times in my life. I've emigrated to Chicago. I married Audrey Niffenegger, the novelist, in 2016, which is eight years ago this month.
Great.
You guys did a
Congratulations.
cool comic together too. Bizarre Love.
Bizarre Romance.
Bizarre Romance. That's right. What
She
was
didn't want-
Oh,
She didn't want to call it romance. I said, yeah, let's call it romance. She says, if we call it romance, they'll put a pink cover on it, and it will be little hearts and flowers. And I don't know if you can see that, but it's all little hearts.
flowers?
she knew what she was talking about.
Don't do it, she said. Actually, we put the hearts and flowers on. It's my drawing in the book, except for the cover. That's Audrey. Audrey drew the cover.
Oh wow.
It's a little.
That's
I've got to remember to
that's
go
a
left
great-
when I mean to go right, but it's a little bird
Yeah.
person hugging a cat person.
yeah.
Because Audrey's stuff is all very weird.
Mm.
It's fun though. I like Audrey's stuff.
Oh yeah,
She's just a brilliant writer.
Chicago loves Audrey. The Time Traveler's Wife, of course, was set in
Yeah.
Chicago.
Yeah,
It celebrated. It wasn't just set there; it celebrated Chicago.
it did. It did. So you
It's-
brought up the weird time in the pandemic, and of course, your last graphic novel was about that, The Second Fake Death of Eddie Campbell by Eddie Campbell.
Yeah,
Which,
But-
Maria,
yeah.
you should totally read this one. This one's
I don't know.
fantastic.
I don't know if you've seen this, but it's a double book
Flip book.
Oh,
me-
that's great.
that meets in the middle.
Yeah.
Oh, well, this one you have to get. I have to get physically, not on Kindle.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, it's good to be.
I mean,
Yes.
it's available on Kindle, but it is a much better physical read.
Yes,
Got to
yes.
be in your hands.
Yes, absolutely.
But talk to me about that, because I read it when it came out. I didn't have time to reread it this week, but I liked how you portrayed a difficult time and how holding on to who you were was.
It's the way we see the thing with the pandemic is that everybody had to stay home and mind their own business and find work to do, which is my life. So it didn't really affect me. It was just this is how we live normally.
It's the same for me. Yes.
Yeah, because the artistic life is just sitting at home and finding your own work, and nobody's telling you what to do. I'm sure a lot of people. I'm sure a lot didn't, but I'm sure a lot of people thought, wait a minute, I like this better. As I said before, I'm not wasting time. I'm getting a day's work done in 6 hours, and then I can get other important things done.
Yeah.
I'm
yeah.
sure a lot of people found that.
Yeah,
I'm
and it's
Go ahead.
amazing how the companies have resisted that work from home thing from employees. Like they want them in in the office.
I think it's
you
all
know.
about control,
Mm,
because they even have the data that says productivity didn't go down. If anything, productivity went up. What went down was their ability to say, you're not working
yeah.
because you're checking your email or playing solitaire for a few minutes, which makes it really hard for managers to justify what they're doing.
That's
Because
it.
they don't
yeah.
have anybody to over. So the highest paid people have more trouble justifying their jobs, and we can't have any of them get caught.
Absolutely.
So, Eddie, the other thing that caught my attention, because I love your eye as an artist, and you have a book coming from Fantagraphics, or upcoming Fantagraphics, where you wrote about Kate Carew.
It was supposed to be out in June, but it's going to
Yeah.
be
August
delayed.
27th.
It's delayed till August now.
Tell me about Kate.
Kate.
Yeah.
Kate is probably the first great lady cartoonist in America. America's first great woman cartoonist. She did different kinds of cartooning. She did do the Sunday funnies for 3 or 4 years. She had a full color page in the Sunday World, which looked. I don't have a dummy here. I've got some loose pages. Hold on a minute.
Yeah. Maria's eye is the one that I like for this sort of thing.
Did it?
Oh, isn't it good?
Can you see that? Look, go right there.
Oh, it's very Nemo kind of.
Yeah, there's a full page. But I'm trying to fill this. Anyway, you can see it. You can see it.
Yeah.
That's one example. But the main thing she didn't do the funnies for very long. Her main thing was that she interviewed celebrities, and she did a very large picture of the celebrity, a caricature, but it was usually a very affectionate caricature. There was nothing for anybody to get upset about. And she interviewed many people that we would still like to meet. Like Mark Twain was the first one she did.
Oh wow.
She was tricked into interviewing. Mark Twain didn't want to be interviewed. He had an arrangement with his publisher that nobody interviewed him. If he was going to say wise things, he wanted to get paid for them. The idea of the interview is
that's so Mark Twain.
The idea of the interview as a way of selling yourself hadn't yet occurred, I don't think. Another person she interviewed was Marconi, the inventor of the wireless radio.
Wireless.
The Wright brothers, the first guys to fly a plane. And I'm just picking 4 at random here. She did 2 or 3, somewhere between 200 and 300 of these. The most interesting one was with Picasso.
Okay.
Oh.
And these appeared as a full page in the huge big broadsheet New York World Sunday sections in the magazine section. So she often had color on the drawings as well.
Wow.
So that's what she did. But she's kind of forgotten now. And it's time to do something about that. So, another thing that she did, which I think is the most interesting of the things she did, was she always drew herself into it. So this is a picture of her.
It's like olive oil.
There we go. Of herself. She's drawn herself with her big hat and her umbrella there. But she found a way of drawing herself into the pictures, into the illustrations. And sometimes she'd just be chasing down an interesting story, and she'd be like what was going on at the local cinema houses or something. What's these newfangled things? Because this was 1906, 1910. The films were still a new thing, and she was going investigating it, and she'd draw herself.
Yeah.
As the investigator.
So it was sorry.
Yeah, and when she traveled to Europe, it became even more interesting because she really did become a player in the story then, where she was traveling abroad, and she wanted to tell you about her travels. For instance, there's see if I can find it. Hold on a minute. There's a little picture there of her in
great.
She's on the dock at Dieppe. She's just got off the ship, and she's found some boys to carry her luggage. So there's her work becomes a kind of graphic autobiography, which is really the thing that interested me most, because that's what I do. So I saw her as a fellow spirit.
Absolutely. Time traveler. That's fabulous. So she was like a reporter in a way,
She was a newspaper person. She actually started as just in the 1890s, where when before photos were used in news reporting, they had to send an artist to, there was a if a horse had collapsed, in the main junction in town, they couldn't just photograph it. They had to send an artist round to get the drawing, or whatever. If it was a flower show or a beautiful baby competition or whatever. So she covered the whole gamut of news stories. She liked
Fabulous.
She liked drawing villains because they'd send her to the courthouse, and she had a chance to draw some of the. It's in San Francisco. She had a chance to draw some wild and woolly characters in that wild and woolly town, San Francisco, circa 1900. So she was a full-fledged newspaper person. She wasn't a freelance. She wasn't a comfortable freelance artist like we are, sitting at home drawing her stuff. She was in the newsroom, and she was being sent hither and yon.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Wow.
See, I somehow missed when it came out, the Goat Getters. So this isn't your first foray into comic history.
Writing history.
Right. Another beautiful looking book. Just look at that cover.
Oh, wow.
It was really about the Goat Getters was really about sports page cartooning. And sports page cartooning is interesting for itself, but it's also the site where the daily comic started. See, there were already the Sunday funnies, but the newspaper was a complete environment. It was a holistic, and you have to see the newspaper as a holistic environment. And the cartoons happen differently. Every section in the newspaper has cartoons. The front page has a political cartoon, and the women's pages often had romantic
Gibson
cartoons,
girls, or
like Charles Dana Gibson or Nell Brinkley with the Brinkley Girl, and fashions and romantic ideas were the subjects that proliferated in these women's page cartoons. Yes, they were romantic and elegant, whereas the cartoons on the sports page were kind of ugly
and gory.
ugly and violent. They were often deliberately badly drawn. But on the sports page, the artists, the cartoonists, started to develop their little funny characters that they'd have appearing in the cartoons, and then these characters started appearing in comic strips, and so the daily comic strip originated, such as Mutt and Jeff and Barney Google. These comic strips started at the racetrack. Their characters were scurrilous, bad-mannered creatures who were always trying to get away with something. They were betting on horses or on prize fights and so on.
Yeah, like the Katzenjammer twins, and
they're the kids. The Sunday funnies were the kids' pages, but the sports page was really it was the page of the adult guy. It was a men's page, but they found out that the cartoons they did there didn't have to be about sports. So Tad Dorgan was the main player in sports page cartooning, but his sports page cartoons evolved into a comic strip titled Silk Hat Harry's Divorce Suit. So it was a subject that you wouldn't get on the kids' pages. If you follow my reasoning here, it was a completely different kind of comic that developed on the sports pages. It was a more adult comic.
Yeah.
And by adult, I don't mean sophisticated. I just mean they were getting away with raffish behavior.
Right. Well,
yeah.
The Billy Ireland received the Bill Blackbeard collection. It was when Caitlin McGurk sent me to their online exhibit for that it like really sunk into me that photographs in newspapers are a relatively new thing. So they had to have artists to
Yeah.
tell stories.
The first photos probably they appear at the end of 1897. But
right.
they don't. The papers are not fully drenched in photos until
Right.
1900, and the sport photographs were delayed on the sports page because it was harder to photograph a moving subject. Right, the sports page resisted the photograph. They could get portraits of the favorite athletes and fighters and so on, but yeah,
I mean, this is Winsor McKay on the front page of the paper.
on the editorial section. Yeah.
Well, I think this is for the Evening Journal. I think it's actually just page 1. But yeah, no, I mean,
On the front page, yeah.
yeah.
Now there's
And then
there's
sports pages is just,
now see there's a sports page cartoon by Tad Dorgan, which I have in my book
right.
in black and white. But he's got 4 portraits of the great Jack Johnson, who's he had just beaten Jim Jeffries. It's defending his claim. Johnson was defending his title. Heavyweight title, and he defended it successfully against Jim Jeffries. So the black guy won it, and the event was followed by race riots all over America because the black guy won.
Because of idiots. Yeah.
So there's a photo on the front. Is that a photo? Yeah, it's a front. But you can see, but that's a posed photo.
This is a
That's a post
and
photo,
it's
yeah.
specifically of the cartoonist.
No, I'm looking at this one
Ringside.
here. The one
this one.
The one.
The one below,
Yeah.
where they've superimposed 2 staged photos of the fighters to make it look
Right.
as
Yeah.
though they're fighting.
It
But-
says
Yeah.
Tad Dorgan.
Is that on there? Well, he may have written. He's probably written the story, the report. But
Fighters
those
go
are
to the ring.
but those are photographs.
Okay. And
Oh,
then
there
here's
we
But there
go.
you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. It was an interesting cartoon, kind of cartooning, because if you see that one which is just going out the left of the screen, the one just going out the left of the screen there, if you just bring it back slightly, that one, see the one that's in the center of the screen, it was an interesting type of cartooning because it combined both the realistic and the facetious
Yes.
all in one picture. So the depiction of Jim Jeffries, the noble athlete, is a realistic drawing, but the characters in the background over on the right there are cartoonish.
Very cartoonish, yeah.
Yeah. And it was this was the norm in sports page cartooning.
Yeah.
I know of no other kind of cartoon that happily combines everything in the same picture space. Sometimes they'll even have a character with a big head in the space, as you know, a big head cartoon in the same space as the realistic one. The one over on the left there is so it's on the same page again. You know, the one, yeah, if you bring that in, but it's on the same. It's the running sports page cartoon, but you can see that one's drawn. This one is drawn completely facetiously.
Right.
Whereas
this is where I'll quickly tell anybody listening, if you Google Bill Blackbird virtual comics exhibit, you'll come with a storymaps.arcgis.com. This is under the early 20th century newspapers.
Yeah,
selection.
They did most of the that one. This one that's just come on, that's Rube Goldberg.
Yep.
This is the great
Right.
Rube Goldberg. He started out as a sports page cartoonist, reporting sporting events. So the guy who's famous for his wacky inventions, Rube Goldberg's inventions. This is how he started. So again, you can see in the left of the picture, he's drawn a realistic representation of Jim Jeffries after being punched out of the ring, whereas over on the right, all his usual cartoony stuff.
Yeah. And And the people around at ringside are also a bit cartoony. So
Yeah.
they're secondary characters. They don't matter
Yeah.
so much. So
So
it's
it's
a hierarchy.
all the different modes were combined in the one picture space. I find it graphically quite exciting. You know, formally, that what was going on there was really
I remember.
unique. I know of no other kind of cartooning where you, like in comics, you decide at the beginning, am I doing a funny comic or a real comic, and you stick to what it is you're supposed to be doing. But in
Yes.
sports page cartooning, it's all mixed up.
So, I mean, where I was going overall is what, I mean, other than obviously many people become interested in what they do, but what took you from into the realm of not just cartooning on your own, but researching and putting together history?
Becoming a historian.
Ah,
I've always wanted to. I've always see if you go right back to the beginning of my beginning. Maria wouldn't have been born yet. I'm talking about around about 1970.
Oh yeah, I was born.
You'd arrived. 19. It was actually about 1968 was published the first history of comics, and it's the one that accompanied an exhibition at the Louvre in Paris. So the Louvre decided they were going to have an exhibition about. Somebody persuaded them to do it. There was a group in Paris. I've forgotten their name. It was one of those acronyms. It was SOCERLID, so that we might read it as saucer lid or something. I've no idea. I mean, that's obviously not how they pronounce it in Paris. But anyway, they persuaded the Louvre to put on the comics. Well, this is after Roy Lichtenstein. So that comics had been given a certain cachet by pop art. So they persuaded the Louvre, the Louvre Museum, that comics were an art form in their own right, and they were worthy of an exhibition. And if you could take images from comics, blow them up to the size of an easel painting, hang them on the wall, and they would have a totally different impact from being a little thing in the newspaper. Oh, back in the day, there were big things in the newspaper. They're unbelievably tiny now. So it was a successful exhibition, and it brought a lot of attention to the idea of comics, to the idea that comics had a history. So the book that accompanied it told the history of comics, and they reached back in time and talked about Hogarth and ancient things. I'm not crazy about leave Hogarth out of it, if you ask me. But anyway, it reached back to medieval times and so on, and it attempted to persuade us that comics had a history that goes back that far. But the real history of comics begins in the 1890s. I would insist. People will argue with me. They'll be on the phone. They'll be in the comments. They'll be arguing with me.
but thankfully,
I don't give a shit.
My primary listeners are my mom and my friend John, and they defer to my guess.
So then there followed upon this a whole slew of books on the history of comics. For instance, in England there was the Penguin Book of Comics by Aldridge and Perry, and once again it told the history. The French one had been translated, so this was like the second history of comics in the English language. Then a few years later, Jerry Robinson did one. Jim Steranko put out a huge big 2-volume set. He was trying to write the history of comic books. So all these books, and I think Bill Blackbeard did this Smithsonian collection of comics, where
sounds right.
I think that was about 2000. No, 76 maybe, something like that. He told the history of comics by showing the best of them in sequence. everybody tried to give it a different slant. Oh, there was a German book, which in English translation was the Anatomy of a Mass Medium, and the cover was brilliant because they used Rembrandt's anatomy of the anatomy of Dr. Tulp, and there's the corpse on the table, and Dr. Tulp is holding up in his tweezers a vein from one of the arms, right? But he did all. But all the players in this, and there's a whole crowd of people all round the table in the Rembrandt, all leaning over to look at the corpse being dissected. But anyway, the picture was, I don't know who did the graphics on it, but it was a great graphics. All the characters in the painting were now comic strip characters. And I think it was Ben Grimm. Yeah, how did you get that so quickly? Right. If you zoom in,
I do this.
Right. If you zoom in quickly, you'll see that Ben Grimm, the thing is the one on the table, and I think Superman is Dr. Tulp holding the tweezers, and there are some other characters around the. There you go.
We've got Little Orphan Annie and the Phantom, Charlie Brown looking very worried, Batman and Dick Tracy looking on. Yeah. Prince Valiant, Captain America, Superman, Donald Duck.
Looking at it now, it's not as good as I remember. As a graphic, it's pretty heavy-handed. It's a very heavy-handed piece of work. If I was the art director, I wouldn't be allowing that.
Is this the one that you were talking about first?
But yeah, the German one was by Reitberger and Fuchs. I very quickly went off that book at the time. I took objection to something. I've forgotten what it was. I've forgotten what it was. He was talking about perspective or something.
Mm.
It was but I took a dislike to it. But I met Reitberger in Germany, in Munich in 2016. He died a couple of years later. But I thought I should tell him I thought I should represent little Campbell, little 15-year-old Campbell. And I thought, it was a great book. It was a wonderful influence on me, blah, blah, blah. I didn't tell him I cut it up.
I was going to say, you killed him. 2 years later, he died.
And kept some of the pictures. I didn't tell him that. I thought, I'll pretend I'm 15-year-old Eddie Campbell. Tell him his book's great. But I've become very... And the reason I mentioned that I've become very critical of the history books on comics. I thought they're all rubbish. I could do a better one. This is just recently. So I did. So I thought I'll put my money where my mouth is, and I did the Goat Getters.
Yeah.
Which is it's in a subject that nobody had tackled yet, because they keep telling the same story, starting with the yellow kid and working on up. They always got to tell the same. I thought, I'll tell a different aspect of comics. I'll tell it from a completely different angle, one that nobody has treated before. Like, for instance, many writers' comics often refer to sports cartoons. Like Blackbeard himself referred to sports cartoons, but nobody ever said, what is a sports cartoon? It's not just a cartoon about sports. It has its own formal peculiarities. And nobody had ever talked about it. I thought, right, that's my subject, because I love the formal peculiarities, as I talked about earlier. I thought, how did they get that way? Because nothing arrives fully blown. Everything arrives in increments, a little bit at a time. Like that cat you're holding. You know, yeah. It arrived gradually, and then you realized it was in your lap. You know.
And then it stole the microphone.
It was rubbing itself against your shin just a minute ago.
No, he jumps from the floor to my lap.
I don't know.
He doesn't mess around.
I've got one that will jump from the floor to my shoulder.
Yeah,
in one leap.
He'll do that too.
And then hang on for dear life.
It's like he knows you, Eddie. Oh. But by the way, Eddie, this is Eddie the cat.
Oh, is it? There he goes.
Edgar Gala Apple. My wife likes to name our animals after artists and fruits. So it's Degas and our favorite apple.
Anyway,
Um, that's a
I've been jabbering on. You were going.
no. That's what you're supposed to
No.
do.
You were
And
going
I was
to
going to
say.
say that's a great segue to tell me how you've emerged as an artist.
Oh,
I mean,
the whole
I've
point.
read,
The whole
I've
point of
read.
leaning in. The whole point of
Right.
leaning into that. I've forgotten what the point. I've forgotten what the point was. The
Oh,
point
It's
was
all right.
the point was that in realizing that there was a history of comics, and that there were. It was like it was like old-fashioned history where it's a parade of great people, a parade of great, usually men. I'm sorry to say, history as it used to be. Like it was a parade of great men. So we'd have we'd have Winsor McKay who drew Little Nemo. We'd have George Harriman who drew
Crazy
Crazy
Cat.
Cat, and so on.
Crazy kid.
Charles Schultz who drew Peanuts, and so on.
Peanuts.
And I thought, because I would love comics, but they're just things you read. I thought comics has a history. Holy shit!
Mm.
Who knew? Who knew comics had a Comics had a history. Comics had geniuses and great men in its past. Who knew? And once once you realize it has comics has a history, the door is open to thinking of comics as an art,
As
particularly
literature.
as literature, particularly since it just had an exhibition at the Louvre, as I said earlier. So the invitation was to basically to take it seriously, to think that I could express the great ideas of the age in this humble form, that was invented, as Chris Ware once noted, this humble form that was invented to tell a joke. It has all that you need contained within its DNA to tell the most serious and worthwhile stories of our time.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
that's because it's harder to tell a good
just
joke.
it's storytelling,
Right.
so it can comprise short story, long form, it can comprise little, essays. So
Yeah,
it's like any sort of literature, any written,
yeah,
except that
Yeah.
it includes images,
Yeah.
yeah.
and then it
Fiction,
has that
nonfiction, you
beautiful,
name
And
it.
the next step of the
yeah.
story was that someone among us had to create a book that was worthy of. We started bandying around the term graphic novel as a way of expressing this elevated ambition, this increased ambition. The ambition before had been to draw Batman. I want to draw Batman or something, but now the ambition was to create the graphic literature of our time. So Spiegelman's, your own, the Hernandez brothers, of course, were an early entry into this field, and Joe Sacco and Chester Brown and so on. And Spiegelman was probably the earliest, with and his mouse winning the Pulitzer Prize in '91 justified the whole program of taking the idea seriously,
Medium.
the medium seriously. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
But what have we can? But my idea was that comics were capable of creating great works, but the way it's gone was not what I envisioned. The way it's gone is that the whole medium of comics is now regarded as the literature of our times. The whole thing is now regarded as important. So we go to the movies to see Batman and Captain America. That wasn't the idea. That's not what it was supposed to be.
I don't know if the whole thing is regarded as important in the same way.
No,
I
but
mean, I think
that's right, because
yeah,
they're calling any collection of Batman or whatever is called a graphic novel now.
yeah,
Yeah.
Like
that's true.
it's
Though
not
I still,
there was a separation that was happening, and
I,
then it kind of
I think for different reasons, I gotta agree with Howard Chaykin on this one. I don't like graphic novel as a term because, like, a novel is a novel. I want it to be something else. I want it to be. I don't know what to call it, which is why I just call them all comics. But that makes it harder.
Yeah, but the thing is, we should never argue about. one should
Yeah, I
never
don't really argue about
about it.
it.
The worst thing in the world
Right.
to do is argue about it.
Yeah.
I got in trouble 2 years ago. Somebody on the internet was saying that
You got in trouble on the
a very,
internet? I don't believe it.
a very nice woman on the internet was saying that Mouse shouldn't be called a graphic novel because novels are fiction and Mouse isn't fiction. And I said, oh, for fuck's sake, here we go again, in a tweet, you know?
Right.
And that was it. All hell came down on my poor shoulders.
Right.
I'd been an idiot. Anyway, in the wake of that argument, I went back through the history of Mouse, the Wikipedia page for Mouse. And the first line says, Mouse is a graphic novel, blah, 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 blah. Right? Now, that first line, the Wikipedia page was created in 2003. So it's been going for 21 years. Right? That first line has been changed 22 times.
Wow.
They've argued, and you go to the data where they're arguing about it. It was a graphic novel. It was a comics. It was a graphic memoir back to graphic novel and back to graphic memoir. And
I mean, overall, I think it's
graphic
whatever.
memoir works.
I think we all always know what it means.
But even talking about it is a terrible waste of time. It's been changed 22 times.
Yeah.
It was a graphic work using the techniques of the comic. It was the way they tried to phrase it.
Yeah, see, that I don't like.
22 times. They've changed the damn thing. Anyway, one should not get involved in any discussion about what we call this damn thing.
No.
I call it good. Yeah, I call it good. It's good. It's good. So
that's the end of that.
But talk to me. Do I?
What is it they call in the Sopranos? You know, they talk about our thing. You know,
yes.
They mustn't find out about our thing. It's a bit like that. Our thing.
These days, you have to have. There are certain things you have to kind of keep off the internet and just talk amongst yourselves and just leave it out. Otherwise.
Yeah, he was holding up there. He was holding.
What are you holding?
The very first comic. I self-published that in 1974.
Wow.
And you sold it to me at Cake, what, 3 years ago?
Did I?
Yeah. You convinced me to buy this instead of something way more expensive.
Did I? I think I'm still selling them. Still selling them for $6.
In 2019, because you signed it to me.
Oh, there you go. Now, I printed 500 of those in December 74 when I was 19. And I think the printer said to me, he says, "Are you sure you can sell it? Can you sell these?" And I said, "Oh yeah, leave it to me." I think I sold 30 of them.
You're almost there.
Over
Keep
the
bringing
mail.
it to Cake every year.
I think I sold 30 of them by mail. And then I thought, I've bitten off more than I can chew. This didn't work. So I put them all in boxes and put them in my parents' loft. And now that is 50 years, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that is 50 years.
It's exactly 50 years.
In the 50 years since then, I've been selling them off. And I didn't lose money. It cost me $120 120 quid. It cost me 120 pounds to print them. And it didn't cost me anything to store them because I stored them in my parents' loft. And every time I go home and grab a handful, and I think I've still got a dozen or 20 copies in my possession.
There'll be a collectible any minute now.
But it was the first. No, it wasn't number one. Now the thing is, it wasn't. It's titled Beam, and it wasn't number one. It was just it just says at the bottom, "This is my comic book." I think it's a
comic book for the end of the world.
A comic book for the end of the world. But the point is, it was a one-off. It was a complete story.
Yeah.
Which is the idea.
A tale of Beam, Goat, as a
Lump.
note, lump by
But
Roland Bunn.
let's not go through it. I don't want to go through.
But my overall
But-
question though is
But it wasn't. The story was actually.
I enjoyed it.
It's not badly drawn. The
No, it's
story's not. The story's not stupid. In fact, it's kind of similar to the one that Neil Gaiman used on the thing of his recently. It's the angel Gabriel. The angel Gabriel has come to Earth to blow his horn on the last day, but they've lost the music. He's rounded up this band, but it doesn't. They play the tune, but it didn't work, and they've lost the music. And the rest of the book is about them trying to find trying to find the sheet music for the music to play the end of the world. Neil Gaiman's latest thing, he had the angel Gabriel's turned up on Earth. It's a totally different story, but I thought it was interesting. There's the angel Gabriel again in regular clothes, turning up to do his duty. Now, so following that, I thought, well, I'm not cut out for this, and I went and got a job working as a civil servant for a couple of years. And I didn't really. I think it was about 70. I still drew now and then, but I wasn't ambitious about comics again until about 1978, where I'd started drawing a thing called the Ace Rock and Roll Club, which Fantagraphics later printed as a book. And it's still available as a Kindle thing. You can get it as a Kindle thing in the days of the Ace Rock and Roll Club, and it wasn't the intention in that series when I started it, but it's in that series that I first stumbled upon the idea of autobiography in comics, because I stopped reading comic books. I thought they're all about saving the world. They're all about men and in color, in gaudy costumes. It's what's his name? Cavalier and Clay. Michael Chabon.
Okay.
Michael Chabon, and he was talking about the colors of the superheroes. You know, the red and yellow, the red, blue, and white, the yellow and green. Yeah. He said these were clothes designed by people not given leave to dress themselves. He says, no doubt about it, it was kids' stuff.
Mm-hmm. That's a great quote.
I thought, what a brilliant insight. The whole idea of the superhero, it was like kids imagining of how they would like to dress. If, they thought of the idea, how would a child like to dress? Because we're forcing them we're forcing them to be little adults and wear suits. But how would a little boy? We're talking about boys.
Onesies.
How would a boy like to dress? They'd like to dress like a circus acrobat, or you know what I mean? If given a choice in the matter, he'd prefer to dress like a circus acrobat than like a little man with a suit and tie. So
that's probably what happened. You know, there were probably kids who went to the circus, saw the acrobats, saw these powerful men with their muscles, and when that was the image that they had of a strong man.
Yeah.
You know, absolutely. I've never thought about it that way, but yeah, that's right.
I did a book called The Amazing Remarkable Monsieur Leotard, which is set in the late 1800s, but at the end of the story, that actually happens. I've got him performing in Cleveland, Ohio, and there's two guys in the audience who created Superman. Now, Leotard was the man who invented the leotard. The tight-fitting costume, and he was an acrobat. What do you call it? On the a trapeze artist. He flew through the air with the greatest of ease. That daring young man on the flying trapeze. That song was probably about Leotard. Anyway, he's in. I get his. the original Leotard dies at the beginning of the book. This was my graphic novel from 2008. I don't have a copy handy.
I'm looking at the cover right now. I love it.
Look up the French edition. The French edition's got an interesting cover if you can find that. By Caetla, C-A-E-T-L-A. The French edition has got a very bold cover with but anyway, he's got these four performers who perform as a team, and they're called the Quartet Fantastique. And one of them's the India Rubber Man. Another one's the Fire Breather. And then there's the Strong Man. This is Fantastic Four, yes? You're following?
Yeah, Fantastic Four, yeah.
Yeah, and the final one was the girl who disappears inside the magician's cabinet.
Oh. Okay. So Invisible Girl.
So I'm looking at some of the here.
So all of the in other words, all the characters had their all of the characters. You can see Leotard over there. So all of the characters had their origins in circus.
Quimby's has a
Circus.
copy.
Circus
Prototypes.
Yeah. Wow. I really have to.
The superheroes. That was you just flashback. People listening to this on the radio wonder what the hell we're looking at, but you just flash past Steranko's History of Comics there.
I did, because I pulled it up when you were talking about it earlier.
Yeah, I love that. That's one of the few histories I haven't cut up. In fact, I've still got that book here with me in Chicago. And do you know what I liked about it?
What'd you like?
Something practical about Steranko. He didn't get into fancy ideas. In fact, he was very interested in the breakdown of the way that they, in a shop, in a comic book sweatshop, the way that they paid the artists. He was very interested in the breakdown, the percentages, the way he broke down.
It's like
so in the book, he went into that.
He actually went into this, and he looked at actually old invoices and pay sheets from the 40s to show how they used to pay the artists. And well, they've got a big room full of artists. Will Eisner had a shop like that. He said it was like a galley going to sea with guys at the oars,
rowing,
lined up one behind the other, one desk behind the other, rowing the ship. He said it was more like a galley than an art studio. More like anyway. But anyway, so I thought this is valuable information. This is the kind of stuff I'm interested in, rather than some academic bloviating about like those German guys in their anatomy book. They were bloviating about something. It's saying the ordinary reader cannot help but look at it and say to himself, I've forgotten. As an example, I've studied art and I've forgotten the name of the famous late 1400s painter who first used perspective.
Da Vinci, or
begins with an M. Masaccio. Was it Masaccio?
Oh, okay.
The ordinary reader cannot help but look at it and exclaim, Masaccio. I don't know. I don't think it was Mantegna.
Brunelleschi.
Mantegna.
No, Mantegna.
How many people can remember Mantegna? Never mind. Automatically say his name. Oh yes.
No.
So I'm looking at pages though from Amazing Remarkable
Monsieur Leotard. My circus book.
Yeah, well, but there's one major change that I've noticed occur over your career, which is where you used to do black and white. You're doing is this watercolor or how are you doing color? I love your colors.
Well, all the time. Oh, just twisted me neck. All the time I was publishing my own work right up to about 2003. I was working in black ink. I did my first color book in It came out in 2004. It was a Batman. It was a it was a Batman 48-page one-off titled the Order of Beasts. Batman: The Order of Beasts. I'm still proud of it. It's great, but it was my first fully painted book. Obviously, I painted covers and so on because I'd self-published. Like at 80, I think it's 80. I'd self-published 88 different objects,
right,
under my own label, Eddie Campbell Comics, between 95 and 2003, and most of them had painted covers. But I'd always wanted to do an entire book, a whole book in painting. But from 2004 onwards, virtually everything I've been and done, everything that I've done has been in color.
And again, I like it. I like that it's more muted and realistic than most colors that we. Realistic's not even quite the right word. But
but in saying that it's all in color, I'm always trying to move forward. Like I now do everything on the computer. I don't paint now. I'm now every mark in the comic is made on the computer.
Okay.
The fake, what's it called? The second fake death of Eddie Campbell. Mm-hmm. And really that's been developing since about 2012 with 2010, 11 with The Lovely Horrible Stuff, my book about money. Which is a mix of ink, paint, and computer manipulation. But I was putting the drawings into the computer, and then I was completely erasing the drawing because all the color, I fill in all the color under the drawing, and I thought, well, I don't need the drawing. Let's take I thought, well, why bother drawing it in ink if I'm just going to erase it? That was the Lovely Horrible Stuff. After that, I started like the book that I did with Audrey. There's stories, and that's the first book I've done where the entire stories are done on the computer. The reviewer of the second fake death on the Comic Journal site was very upset that I used a font instead of hand lettering, and I'm changing the writing right up to the last minute. Right. It is a pain in the arse to change hand lettering. You know, you can lasso groups of letters, move them this way or that way, stick a letter in between. You know what I mean? You can do it to some extent, but it's time consuming. I thought this is a waste of time. I'm just going to use a computer font from now on.
How has your productivity been changed by the computer? Because I imagine it's like making changes, as you say, that it must be just a huge change.
Productivity.
If you can.
I'm still seem to be managing to get I don't get a book out a year, but I'm piled up a bunch of books I've done since 2018, and there's 6 of them,
that's pretty good.
It's a book a year.
But 2 of them count in 28. I'm counting the Kate book in there, which hasn't come out yet, but it's like 6 books in 7 years.
Right.
I think, yeah. So I'm still managing to get to do I can do a whole 196-page graphic novel, and it's taking me longer because I'm becoming more. Oh, but the second fake death, half of that was the older book. There was a reprint, but I still had to do 96 pages. I was just thinking half of it was an old book, but I still did a new book. It's a 96-page new book.
Do you think it's changed?
I'm still working. I'm working fast. As I get older, I'm spending less time working. I say no to stuff. Mm-hmm. I used to not be able to say. I'd say yes to everything, and then I'd sit and complain, and all my friends would say I wasn't a very nice person for the year that I did that book, whatever that book is. Are you still working pen and paper, Maria?
Not for my storyboards, no. That's all digital.
Yeah.
There's because again changes and all that. But I've gone back to traditional stuff first. I do a lot of sketchbook work and I'm painting. I actually have a painting in an exhibition. I've got three paintings in 3 exhibitions here I'm in far north Queensland. So it's all very regional. But yeah,
What's the exhibition?
so the Percival Portrait Prize
The portrait prize.
Townsville.
Yeah.
I'm actually a finalist on that.
Oh, well done.
So you know the I won't win or anything, but you know that's quite an honor to be, because that's actually quite good work. That's a big prize here around here.
Yeah,
And,
the portrait competition jumped into my head. It's the most accessible to us who are figurative artists. I don't know what else there is going on in the art world, but this one does offer a doorway, offer an entrance, a doorway to our kind of thinking, doesn't it? A friend of mine. Well, I didn't know him for long. I can't remember his second name. His first name was Ken, and we called him Mortal Ken.
Okay.
But he asked me if he minded me posing for a photo for the exhibition. That's probably the same exhibition you're talking about. But he didn't get through the whatever step, whatever.
Oh no, you're thinking of the Archibalds. That's the really big one.
That's another portrait. That's the
really big one. They've just announced the winner of that. Yeah. Yeah, that's the really famous. This one's a regional one, just in far north Queensland in Townsville, which is you know, but it's a big prize. It's you know, in terms of money and a bit of prestige. So I think a finalist is pretty good.
I lived up there for a year, north of town. Have you been up there? I lived north of Townsville for a year. This is this is really the tropics. Ingham.
Yeah. Yeah.
My first
Ingham
wife
is great.
My first wife came from Ingham, which is a sugar country there. It's a sugar town.
Yeah, it's also it has a very big Italian
very Italian.
And a very good regional gallery, actually.
Oh, good.
It's probably changed a lot since you. Yeah,
I haven't been there since 88, 89. In fact, I just come from there when I met you.
Right.
I was living with my wife in England, but I went from there to Brisbane, and so I was in Brisbane after that. But which is much farther south. I think it's about an 8-hour ride on the train south of.
Yeah.
But Townsville really is tropical Australia.
Yes. I am actually further north, so near Cairns. So it's a few hours.
What, you living up there?
Yeah, I'm living here. Yeah.
Oh, not in Cairns. I didn't know.
I
thought you were
in Mission Beach, which is.
I didn't realize you were way up. I thought you were still in the Melbourne area.
No. Yeah, no. I live in the tropics now with the crocodiles and.
Yeah, well done.
Just enjoying it. Like it's winter now in Australia, and I'm wearing a singlet and a little shirt. It's great. I love the weather. But there's also a really thriving artist scene here. So it's good.
Excellent. Mission Beach. Yes. Rings a bell. Rings a bell. I'm working on a new book about leaving Australia.
Okay.
It's titled "The Getting Out of Granson Street." You know the old folk song, "The Leaving of Liverpool." Well, this is the getting out of Granson Street. Is the title?
Buggering off.
On a bugger off. I said that I was working at way back around about the time in 1991. I was working at a convention table in San Diego, and we were closing up for the day, and I said to the guys there, I said, well, that'll be me. I think I'll bugger off. And everybody was giving me a strange look. And I said, as we say in Australia. And somebody said, you don't, do you?
Isn't it really rude to say that in England? Isn't it?
No, we say that. We say much worse things like that in England and Australia, as you know.
Yeah. Yes. That's so funny. Yeah, it's funny how all those words, things we say here,
Yeah.
I don't know, in other countries, they might go, apparently bugger is a terrible word in other places.
That's so mild to Australia.
I don't know if it's a terrible word. In the United States, I think we just don't understand it.
Yes.
Let's get off this subject before I accidentally say something much worse.
We
you can
have
edit
a parental.
it.
We have a parental advisory on all of our podcasts, so nobody has to think about whether they're swearing. But I know Maria's got to go to work, so I'm going to go to my favorite closing question. Tell me a comic or comics that you love that not enough other people have read, and they need to, so that you can talk to them about it.
Not enough people. A comic that...
Something that you love that you feel like is underappreciated is the easier way of putting it. Something you want to tell the world about. Well,
I'll just mention one. This is a book that I've read in the last year. It's a biography of Charles Schulz.
Oh, so good.
Drawn in the style of Charles Schulz by two Italian chaps whose names I'm not going to remember now. Published by was it Top Shelf? Published it last year. It's a great book.
I'll have the title in a second.
And the whole thing, it's done in the style, but each page contains two strips, and each
funny things, a comic strip biography of Charles M. Schulz.
Each page contains either two dailies, and then there's 6 of those, and a Sunday. Right. So it's like reading the archive of Peanuts. You get a Sunday, then 6 dailies with 2 to a page.
Luca Davis and Francesco Matuzzi.
That's it, yeah. And each strip's got a punchline ending, and they tell. I think it's like a whole 300-page graphic novel.
It's brilliant.
Told in this style. It's told in the style of Charles Schulz in daily increments with a punchline every day. And they keep this up for 300 pages. It's amazing.
Yeah. It's brilliant. We do a comic strip book club quarterly, and our missing episode, because we accidentally deleted it before we actually got it up, was the Charles Schulz episode. And I'd read this for it. So we're gonna record it again this October. We're going to keep recording our Charles Schulz episode until we remember to post it.
You accidentally deleted a whole show.
What happened was we were also doing our first Santos Sisters audio production. So I was sending massive numbers of recordings to my co-host, who wasn't able to come tonight, but does all the tech stuff. Yeah. And it got lost in the shuffle. And when we run out of space on Zoom, I have to delete things so that there's room in our cloud to record the next episode. And I thought it was up, so I deleted it from there. And it turned out neither one of us had downloaded it to our computers, at least that we could find. Yeah. So yes, we have one lost episode.
No.
But the club has actually gotten bigger since then, because I get together with Bob Sikoriak and Carl Krumholtz and Jonathan Bayliss now, along with Sean Hargrove, who's a Chicago actor, to talk comic strips every 3 months. We're doing Nancy in July. Dennis Kitchen and Caitlin McGurk are going to join us for that.
Good.
And there's a similar book. Bill, why can't I ever remember his name? The 3 Rocks. Bill Griffith did
Oh,
a similar biography of um, Ernie Bushmiller
yeah,
to the Charles Schultz one. So that's on
yeah.
my reading list for the next month. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's a fantastic recommendation.
But
And,
you've got me thinking of North Queensland, Maria,
Yes,
eating mangoes and lychees
I
off the
know.
tree.
Yeah, yes. I know when I first moved up here, just driving and up here and then looking at all these mangoes on the ground
Yeah,
that had fallen off the tree, that were ripe and just thinking we were paying so much money for those mangoes in Melbourne.
yeah,
And and here they are all just on the
yeah.
ground, just
The fruit, the
trees
fruit,
everywhere.
the fruit bats knock them off the tree. They take one
Yeah,
bite, and the rest falls to
they
the
do.
ground. But um, where I was living in Brisbane, in Granson Street, the getting out of Granson Street, they at the bottom of my street was it was adjacent to the city centre. We were I was 20. It was a 20-minute bike ride, cycle ride to the city centre. It was a 7-minute drive to the city centre, Granson Street. There was a creek, Breakfast Creek, ran along the bottom of the street of Granson Street, and so you couldn't. There was no through road. Anybody going down my street wasn't going anywhere. It was this. It was a strange street that was closed off from everything. But the guy next door to me had lemon trees and pawpaw trees, and all the bats would hang in the trees along the bottom, along the creek. Thousands and thousands of bats. At sunset, all the bats would rise up into the sky. The sky for a few seconds, the sky would be black,
Darkened.
with fluttering fruit bats. It was blackened sky. I used to go out every night just to watch.
I know.
God, what a sight!
The nature of here is incredible.
Yeah.
Like, we have wallabies. You're hopping down the street here and things, and it's just wonderful. I love it. I mean, in terms of culture, okay, it's not like being in Melbourne, but it certainly has its it has a lot to offer. Yeah, and the way you knew it, it was probably a lot more backward, if I can say that.
Yeah.
But now there's like here in Mission Beach, there's a really good gallery. Also in Ingham has a really fantastic regional gallery, quite a big gallery. Townsville Gallery is quite prestigious. That's the one that where that portrait prize is going into. And so I mean, yes, it's not Melbourne or Sydney, but it's but it's good because there's more opportunity to get my work shown here. Now I feel like I'm running out of time to do something personal. I feel like I spend all this time doing advertising storyboards, but at the same time I've been drawing 10-15 hours a day for so long that my skills have maintained, obviously, and improved. And but I feel like I'm running out of time. I have to do something.
One of the things about Kate Carew, to take us back full circle, was that she studied art and she wanted to paint, and in 1920 the rigors of drawing for print full time were giving her eye problems and wrist problems too. So she gave all that and she went back to painting, and she exhibited 3 times at the Paris Salon, and spent the next. She lived for another 40 years, and painted. I've got some paintings, and I've got some paintings in the book. Audrey and I took them down off the wall. We visited her granddaughter, and there was a couple of self-portraits on the way. We took them down. I had a little A4 scanner. You know what an A4 scan. What I mean by an A4 scanner. That's like letter page size. I scanned a large oil painting on this. We took it out
bit by bit.
We took it. It was in 13 parts. We took it out as. I mean, it was 12 parts, but there was one I wanted to make doubly sure of. I went back in.
And put it all together.
And patched it together in Photoshop.
Yes.
And it worked. It was,
yeah.
But the problem is when you do that. There was a canvas. I was capturing. Oh, this was a scanner I bought for $80 5 years ago. Unbelievably sharp images. I could scan up to 2,400 DPI. You know what I mean? Unbelievably sharp images. But the problem is with it had a thing on you open. You know. What do you call it? A lid, which means
the lid,
which means the painting had to go down. The left-hand side had to go down, and then I had to turn it around to come the other way back. The problem then was that the light was hitting the canvas from the other side. So the light all the way up one side of the painting is catching the canvas from the underneath, and all the way down the other side is catching it from above. I'm just hoping nobody notices.
We're going to be looking for that now.
You will notice because I've told you that. The picture may be too small, but you can't see the canvas texture.
So, Mom, if you get the book from
the
library, you can show off to anybody who comes in. Hey, look at this.
But anyway, the problem is that I managed to put this frame because my wife Audrey used to work as a framer. We put this thing back exactly the way we found it. For a while, I was calling us the digital art bandits.
They have massive scanners now. You can take big paintings and scan them life size, apparently, which I don't know why, but I guess.
But I had to carry it on a plane and then carry it on a bus all the way.
Yeah, no, of course.
up to Little River, north of San Francisco, on a backpack.
Yeah.
I was amazed. I was amazed that we could get away because I thought that's what I thought we were going to need a big scanner. I was amazed I was able to do it with a little thing. I've spent my life getting by. With some stupid little version of thing. And it worked. Or some Campbellian fix. There was. I remember when Neil Gaiman visited us. We had a doorway from the bedroom he was staying in. He could cut through straight to the bathroom. Or he could go around the long way, but he could cut through. But he had to walk through my working area. But the problem was the door handle. We only had one door handle to go on both sides. So I said, you got to take the door handle off, walk through, and then put it back on at the other side. It was one of the Campbellian fixes in our house. I think this is why my first wife left me in the end. She, on the week of her 50th birthday, we'd been married 29 years, but she left screaming and yelling, and she just didn't want to live in a comic strip anymore.
That's okay. These things happen.
That's my explanation. That may be a metaphor for something else, but that's my.
She got sick of the handle.
That's my explanation.
Okay for you. You've got your humor.
Did you ever meet Neil Gaiman?
I have not met Neil. I would like to meet Neil. Sometimes responds to my Blue Sky posts.
I did a book with Neil in 2014.
I was reading it today.
The Truth is a Cave in the Black Mountain. Yep. And for the release of this book, we went on a tour, and we played 8 different places. We played the Warfield in San Francisco, and we played Carnegie Hall. The story of this is going to be in my new one, the leaving of, was it the getting out of Granson Street? The story of the Neil tour and playing Carnegie Hall.
Because wasn't there a quartet that went with that too?
Oh, the string quartet.
Yeah,
It was
string
Neil
quartet.
Neil told a story for 70 minutes. There was my images were projected on a huge screen behind him. I've got a huge cinema screen behind him. And the string quartet, the huge cinema was giving me, and that was 70 minutes. And then at the end, I came on and I come on with a bit of the comedy that I created. But you have to read the book. So I've actually been on the stage at Carnegie Hall, a complete imposter, an imposter and a pretender like me.
No, I love that. I love that.
That's great.
I mean, I talked to Cecil Castellucci yesterday. She's written a couple of comic operas
Huh?
where she writes the librettos and there's comics behind them and opera in front. So I mean, I love it when people mess with cross medium stuff. It's fun. It's good. You're not an imposter. You're an innovator.
That's great.
So, Eddie, it's been a blast.
Well,
We'll have to have you back.
I know.
Are you going to be at Cake this year?
They haven't told us yet. We've applied.
Okay. If
Right.
they turn you down, that would just be sad. That
They're-
would be ridiculous.
Running it in a very. They were going to do it in a random selection instead of.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Well,
I can't say for sure.
Cross my
Hope-
fingers that I see you at
hopefully.
Cake.
Yeah.
People can find you at eddiecampbelldammit.com. Gotta love that. And Eddie, just it's always
I say to Audrey, I said, I can't just be Eddie Campbell 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can't do that. She said, well, just be Eddie Campbell, damn it, for heaven's sake. I thought that's it. That's me.
Creative
that's-
genius. I love her.
that's perfect. Yeah.
That's
yeah,
amazing.
I don't get tongue tied a lot, Eddie, but you always catch me because you're such a funny and brilliant guy that I can't always keep up, and I enjoy that. So,
Well, it's great meeting you. How'd you get the name Tad, by the way? Is that just a...
it's short for Thaddeus.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. Thaddeus actually came from the TV show Alias Smith and Jones.
Oh,
I forget
Thaddeus
whether-
Jones.
Yeah.
Thaddeus
yeah.
Jones. And
Yeah. See, I've never seen the TV show. I've been told. I was nicknamed Tad like when I was still at the hospital. So for a long time, I thought Thaddeus was what I heard when I was in trouble.
Hannibal Smith and Thaddeus Jones.
Okay. Okay.
I love that show.
There you go, Mom. We
Never seen
found
it.
the other one. We found the other person who likes Alias Smith and Jones.
And the actor who played Smith shot himself.
Oh,
And that was
Oh.
it.
that's not good.
He was 20 something.
So, yeah, Eddie.
Well, it's been great, Tom. And
yeah, I'm
it's lovely
certain
to see you again. Lovely to see you again, Maria.
Yes,
Yeah.
we'll have to have a Guinness one day because I remember we went to the pub and you said, "Have you ever tried a Guinness?" And I went, "No," and you got me a Guinness,
Wow.
and it was.
Well,
I was
Maria,
like,
if you're
"Oh,
not
one
if you're
beer."
not allergic to cats, I'll put you up here. He probably has space too. You know, you just got to come to Chicago. You can meet us both.
Oh, I'd
You've
love
met
it.
him,
There's some great art galleries in Chicago.
There
probably,
are.
and
There are.
yeah, what's your main gallery there?
Oh, I had to take somebody was visiting, and he had half an hour before he had to get on in his taxi, and he's walking down half an hour. I'll show you the 3 most populist paintings in America. They're all in the same room.
Populist. Oh.
Populist.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. They're all in the same room at the gallery here. We're getting there now in half an hour. Anyway, what would you say would be the 3 most populist paintings in America? So, what was it called? The Night Owl?
Nighthawks at the diner.
The Nighthawks at the
Hopper.
Diner.
Yep.
Nighthawks at the
Mhm.
Diner by Hopper. American Gothic.
Oh yeah, okay.
American Gothic. Now, the second one's a bit of the third one's a bit of a stretch, but he was impressed when he saw it. It's the painting by Ivan Albright that he painted for the 1947 Hollywood movie of The Picture of Dorian Gray. That hideous, ugly, full figure. I showed it to my daughter Haley, and she said, "What's that doing here? It looks like the cover of an EC horror comic." It's a 6 foot tall painting, a full figure. It's the most hideous thing you've ever seen in your life. It looks like something out of a horror comic.
Oh, I have to see that. I don't know that one. It doesn't
Art
sound.
Institute in Chicago.
Ivan Albright. If you want to
I'll
Google
look it up.
Ivan
Yep.
Albright. Dorian Gray.
Okay.
Hideous painting. You can see all three of those are in the same room.
Right.
They
Wow.
also have Sunday in the
I do
Park.
like Hopper though.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Hopper at the Yale University Art Gallery as well. My wife discovered that when we were on our honeymoon. She's a Hopper fan.
I do like it.
All right.
There's a detachment that I like about it. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
For Maria Pena and Eddie Campbell, this has been 22 Panels. We will see you after the next page.
Hey guys, this is Tyler from 22 Panels. I'm here to tell you all about our Patreon. If you enjoy this show, please consider donating to our Patreon to keep this show going. We have many different tiers, all different levels to help you decide what's right for you. Okay, so get on out there to patreon.com/22 Panels Podcast.